From calorie count to portion sizes, we wanted to find out all the differences between Pop-Tarts in the US and the UK. This is Food Wars. In the UK, Pop-Tarts come in one main size, an 8-pack. You might also be able to find a 36-pack online, but these seem more geared towards retailers rather than consumers, so for the purposes of Food Wars, we're not counting them.
In the US, our Pop-Tarts come in 7 size varieties. Down here we have the 2-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack, 16-pack, the value pack, 32-pack, the family pack, I don't know if you can see it says family on there, and the biggest amount, the 48-pack. They probably also come in one box. That means our biggest Pop-Tart variety is 33.3% bigger than what you can get in the UK.
But are the Pop-Tarts the same size in both countries? Let's measure them to find out. So our UK Pop-Tart was 8 centimeters wide and 11 centimeters long for a surface area of 88 centimeters squared.
We will do the same. 3 by 4.
And of course, we're going to weigh it.
And a Pop-Tart in the US weighs 48 grams.
Our UK Pop-Tart was bang on 50 grams, which I think is actually slightly more than it's supposed to weigh. Kellogg's woke up feeling a little generous today. But what about the pastry to filling ratio, I hear you cry? Well, don't worry, we're gonna look at that too. You can sort of like chisel off layers of pastry. I mean, there's really not much jam in there. That's a very thin layer of jam right there. I think we might have to abandon this. Just gone real bad. So unfortunately, we had to abandon the scrape test because that was not working. Joe, if you pulled that off, you're a genius. I don't know how you've done it. However, on the back of the box of the Pop-Tarts, it says that the fruit filling should be 34% of the Pop-Tart by weight. If our maths are correct, this was a 50-gram Pop-Tart. 34% of that should be 17 grams of jam.
Yeah, anyway, all right. Hot, hot, hot. Hot. Ow. Ow. Let me get wiping it on here, right? We'll round up to 10 grams. So that is this percentage of jam. Here's all the Pop-Tarts you can get in the US you can't get in the UK.
And here are all the Pop-Tarts from the UK that you can't find in the US. Yes, it's just the one.
We got all of them. Want to get this out of the way real quick? There are currently 2 limited edition Pop-Tarts out right now, the red, white, and blueberry, and the frosted strawberry throwback. I went to Walmart. Guy said they didn't have them. Also, newer ones, there is an Apple Jacks frosted apple cinnamon one, which is supposed to be delivered to my house tomorrow. I'm sorry. But one new one we do have is frosted banana bread, which looks like a Pop-Tart. Gave us some extra frosting up top there. Yeah, it tastes like banana bread. Actually, it's very good.
You can only find 3 Pop-Tart varieties on sale in the UK, including Strawberry Sensation, Frosted Chocotastic, and Hot Fudge Sundae. These 2 you can also find in the US, so they're not exclusives, but this one is, the Frosted Chocotastic. While it has its own name, it does seem a little bit similar to the US chocolate fudge one, so we'll take it out and have a look. So this is a UK Frosted Chocotastic Pop-Tart. It's got the chocolate icing, the pastry itself is chocolate flavored, and then it's got these little flecks of white stuff on it. Ambitiously in my mind, I was hoping it might be like flaky sea salt, but it's a Pop-Tart. I think it's more likely to just be some icing. Not too bad. You also have a chocolatey filling on that as well. So it's kind of like 3 levels of chocolate going on here. Not too sweet either, actually.
All right, starting with the frosted chocolate fudge. Now let's compare this to what Harry got. Chocolate on chocolate. I know I was going to say the obvious, but this is like really chocolatey and fudgy.
Seeing as we only have 3 Pop-Tarts, I figured I'd try the other ones too, just to see how they stack up against the exclusive Chocotastic. So this is our version of Hot Fudge Sundae. Pastry-wise, looks kind of similar to the chocolate one with the chocolate pastry, but then it has something more resembling the strawberry icing. I feel like this is probably a slightly lazy attempt to just kind of rehash things they already have into a new product. The filling looks pretty similar to the filling found on the Frosted Chocotastic. Slightly lighter in color, so maybe they've gone for more of a fudge vibe rather than just straight chocolate. I think with a combination of the standard icing and the slightly different filling, this has more of a well-rounded, balanced sweet flavor to it. And of course, the classic strawberry Pop-Tart. Obviously, visually this stands out because they have not gone for the chocolate pastry. It's that very kind of almost alarmingly pale pastry color. Pretty much the same icing I think that they've used on the Choc Fudge Sundae. It's the classic for a reason. It's just really good.
It's a blueberry, all right, getting some fruit. I wouldn't be able to guess what fruit this was just by looking outside, I mean. Here in the US so far, one thing I've noticed, they're really skimping on the filling. I know it's like dusty, but brown sugar cinnamon beat up. Ooh, this is like really smooth. Also very dusty. I honestly can't tell if the flavor is the frosting or the jam. Cherry, I mean, I feel this is like a flagship one. Aim's not so great over there in the factory. Already though, both on this side and this side, you can almost see the filling coming out of it, right? I'm starting to think a lot of the sweet fruit flavor is coming from the frosting and not the inside. Chocolate chip. All right, already this. Can we get that sad trombone, please? It's like a doctor's signature. It's just whoop, right across it. I can't read this. What does this say? Oh, Pop-Tart. Ooh, this really irritates me. This really winds me up. Oh, you gotta be kidding me with this. Your mom or your school or your work, whatever, doesn't get Oreos. They get the knockoff brand sandwich cookies. And it's like, you'll eat them, but you're like, oh man, kind of wanted Oreos. That's what this tastes like. It tastes like a knockoff of an Oreo. Frosted confetti. No, don't make me eat this. Please don't make me eat this. It's like just eating straight frosting. Next up, frosted hot fudge sundae. Breakfast is served. This looks like an absolute nightmare. Imagine eating this and going to school. Totally phoned in like that drizzle. It's very sweet. Oh man. A Pop-Tart s'mores, Yuli's choice. Okay, it tastes like a s'mores. You can see a little pocket of marshmallow there. This is the first dual filling I think I've had, or at least I've noticed. And you know what? I don't really like it.
I can't believe we only had one exclusive. I feel like I'm really missing out on some of those tasty American Pop-Tarts. Joe, can I get some of those?
No worries, man. I gotcha. Ah!
Thank you. So it looks like Joe has kindly shared with me some confetti cupcake Pop-Tarts, the American version of the hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts, and some frosted s'mores Pop-Tarts. Frosted confetti. I feel like Americans are just obsessed with eating sprinkles because it seems like every kind of brand, whether it's chocolate, pastry, will have a kind of confetti cupcake birthday cake flavor, and Pop-Tarts are no exception. American sprinkles look so much better than British sprinkles. I know it's because they are using banned chemicals, which we don't have over here. We have to opt for natural alternatives, but when it comes to baking, they just hold their color so much better. They look a lot more vibrant. I kind of get why you guys are using it. It doesn't give me any pleasure to admit it, but that is really tasty. It's got almost like a sort of cake batter taste to it, that filling. So it kind of is like you're eating a confetti cupcake, or at least the batter of a confetti cupcake. In my left hand, I have a British Strawberry Sensation Pop-Tart. In my right hand, I have the American Frosted Confetti Cupcake one. Just quickly wanted to point out the color difference because that is wild. Next up is the American version of the Hot Fudge Sundae Pop-Tarts. The American version of these looks so much more fun than ours. Size-wise, they look pretty much the same, but the American one looks thicker. The American one has this white icing filling, whereas in the UK, I think they've gone for more of a kind of like fudgy chocolate filling. The difference between these two is kind of night and day. The American one, better than ours in pretty much every way. I tasted this at first and I wasn't disappointed by it per se, but now that I've had the comparison, a direct comparison with the US, this tastes like eating cardboard. Finally, it's the Frosted S'mores Pop-Tart. I gotta say, s'mores aren't really a thing in the UK. In the UK, we don't have graham crackers, or as we would pronounce it, graham crackers. Shout out to my dad, Graham. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's almost like a digestive biscuit. These are pretty good.
This one looks maybe the scariest. It's cookies and cream. Whenever it's frosting inside, I know I'm in trouble. Yuck. Don't give this to a child ever, and most adults should also not eat this. Grape. Fruit ones look how I think a Pop-Tart's supposed to look. They don't look that intimidating. Grape is a really popular flavor in the US, but anyone in the US will tell you that grape-flavored candy doesn't really taste like grapes. They somehow invented a grape-like flavor, probably because grapes have like a weaker flavor, I think. I'm not quite sure exactly how it came to be, but this tastes exactly like that fake imitation Bubblicious bubblegum grape, you know what I'm talking about, or grape soda. It's not bad. So far, all the fruit ones are better than any of the other ones, so yeah, Eggo. How unnatural looking is this? You know, you can take those classes, I think they're called like sip and paint, where everyone paints the same picture, same still life while they're sipping wine with their friends. This was the image they were painting, and this is what they painted drunk. This does not in any way taste like an Eggo waffle. I don't think it tastes like waffles at all. What ruins it is this frosting on here. This is so sweet. Raspberry. I have a feeling this is gonna be a good one. Yeah. Top tier right here. These were optimized for fruit filling. Wild berry. So it's just the combinations wild, or these were found in the wild? Oh no. Alarm bells in my caveman DNA is going off. Do not eat. This is poisonous. Do not eat. Warning, warning. Your ancestors who ate this died. Let's go against millions of years of evolution and bite into this woefully bright-colored piece of, I'm assuming, food. We'll find out together. With all the frostings on there, it's actually not that sweet compared to the other fruit ones. Played this part of the video to the ambulance driver when he asks what happened. Boston cream donut is this donut right here if you haven't seen it. You can't even tell where the cream is in the compared to the color of the pastry. What I'm about to say will come as no surprise to anyone watching this video, but this one tastes completely artificial. I know, right? Can you believe it? On to the next smaller pyramid. Snickerdoodle. Bland. All right, then look at the unfrosted ones. Unfrosted? Unfrosted, we got strawberry, brown sugar, cinnamon, and blueberry. Unfrosted, V-frosted. I was complaining how sweet they were, so maybe I'm more of an unfrosted guy and I don't realize it, but this looks weird. This looks like an army ration. This one is sweeter, but not that much sweeter. Don't you think with the frosting it'd be night and day? They're pretty similar. Simply frosted harvest strawberry. There you go, no artificial colors, color from natural sources. Once again, regular strawberry Pop-Tarts. They look pretty similar, right? This one even has more frosting on it. Wow, they taste exactly the same as the artificial ones.
One other thing that we wanted to talk about was the toasted versus untoasted Pop-Tarts debate. Now, people have been debating for years whether it's better to eat your Pop-Tarts toasted or straight out of the packet. I will say in the UK, this is less of a debate because I feel like most people are more likely to toast their Pop-Tarts, even though they are safe to eat straight out of the packet. However, we did notice that on the American ones that Joe sent over, there are some varying instructions which kind of confused us. Apparently in the US, you can microwave them, which you're supposed to do in bursts of 3 seconds until they're hot enough to eat, despite the fact that the British ones explicitly tell you to not microwave them. I'm assuming at some point someone tried to microwave them in the foil and was met with a nasty surprise. And also the American ones say that you can freeze them and eat them frozen. Don't know why you would do that. Frozen or semi-frozen pastry does not sound like it would be nice. But we're not here for microwaved or frozen Pop-Tarts. We're just going to heat a couple up in the toaster oven and then compare them to some untoasted Pop-Tarts to see which ones I prefer.
All right, toasty boy, going in.
Let's see if we can rectify that.
Also, did you notice? What is with Harry's giant toaster oven? And the size of that thing, just get a regular toaster.
Ta-da! Smells like toasted pastry.
Oh. Hey! Ooh, it is falling apart, so it's breaking apart already. Untoasted? Yeah, toasted's way better. The filling's more flavorful. The crispiness of the pastry, I just am too lazy to toast them.
So this one on my right is the untoasted version, and on my left is the toasted version. I gotta say, visually, not a lot has changed. I was hoping for a little bit more browning while it was in the oven. Still not much of a snap from the pastry, even when toasted, but you can see that the filling has slightly liquefied. It's really impressive that they've actually managed to create a pastry that doesn't just burst and leak all of the filling when it does get toasted. I say impressive, probably just uses a lot of chemicals. Whereas when you compare it to the untoasted one, even when you kind of squish it down, that filling is not going anywhere. I do prefer the toasted version, as I sort of expected. I think the main difference for me is actually in the filling. Obviously the flavor doesn't change a lot when you toast it. It's more the texture, I think. Just the fact that it does liquefy slightly gives it a much more pleasant texture when you actually bite into this thing.
Also in the US, you get something called Pop-Tarts Bites. These guys right here. I have strawberry, of course, and confetti cake. But you can also get brown sugar cinnamon, frosted blueberry, frosted chocolate fudge, and strawberry banana. I have no idea what these are. No, these are not good. Pop-Tarts also does collabs with other brands. For instance, there's a Pop-Tarts Jenny's ice cream. Coffee Mate has its own Pop-Tarts flavor. And of course, Pop-Tarts cereal. It was originally called Pop-Tarts Crunch, discontinued, but they renamed it after they brought it back.
In the UK, an 8-pack of strawberry Pop-Tarts costs you £2.99, which is around $3.86.
That same box in the US is $4.49, or £3.47. A 16.3% increase in the US. Ooh, with the gouging, come on guys. It's not surprising to me that Pop-Tarts are really popular in the US. We love a quick and convenient breakfast. They have positioned themselves in their advertising as a more convenient breakfast than cereal. Because you know how inconvenient cereal is. You gotta get the box and the bowl and the spoon and the milk and sit down and eat it. Not Pop-Tarts. Cereal, too much work. Pop-Tarts, way easier.
For me, the price increase per portion makes sense because I've always seen Pop-Tarts as more of a treat than an everyday breakfast food. It was the sort of thing that my mum might have let me have as like a weekend treat breakfast if I had accompanied on her weekly shop and been very well behaved. I will say that the marketing in the UK explicitly doesn't brand these as a breakfast food compared to something like cereal. There is no mention of the word breakfast anywhere on here. They're just referred to as toaster pastries, so I guess they could be construed as more of a snack. Is the lack of breakfast talk the same in the US, Joe, or are you guys a bit less shameless about marketing desserts as breakfast foods for children?
So I originally thought this was supposed to be breakfast food, but Harry makes a good point. It doesn't say breakfast anywhere on here. Even the box says you can get them straight from the foil, toasted, stacked, or frozen, but they really are not saying anything about breakfast. So I went back and looked online. In the 90s, I looked on YouTube. I found a bunch of commercials where they said specifically for breakfast, they even quote, part of your complete breakfast. So they did sometimes market them as breakfast foods and then sometimes not. And just for me, it sunk in that, yeah, you have these for breakfast in the morning when you're in a hurry to get to school or work.
Here is the nutritional information for one strawberry Pop-Tart in the UK. Let's be honest, they come in packs of 2, so we're going to double those numbers for a more accurate serving size reading.
Thank you, Harry. Because in the US, we go straight for the 2-tart serving size. And here, our strawberry Pop-Tarts are...
It looks like the UK numbers are actually slightly higher than those in the US, so I guess that means we're winning?
Now, if calories are your thing, in the US, our cinnamon brown sugar Pop-Tarts have the most, 400 per serving. How about weights? The unfrosted have even more calories, 410 per serving. I don't know how that works either.
In 2021, somebody sued Kellogg's claiming that Pop-Tarts contained way less strawberry than what was presented on the packaging.
This case was ultimately dismissed as the judge said, quote, no reasonable consumer could believe from Kellogg's packaging that the breakfast staple, hey, breakfast, perfect, okay, contains only strawberries, or more strawberries than other ingredients such as pears and apples. The US packaging actually states that the strawberry Pop-Tarts contain 2% or less of dried strawberries.
Here are all the ingredients of a UK strawberry sensation frosted Pop-Tart. One thing to note is that the gelatin used in a UK Pop-Tart is explicitly labelled as beef gelatin, so unfortunately this means that British Pop-Tarts are not suitable for vegetarians.
And here are all the ingredients in a US strawberry Pop-Tart. Do-do-do-do.
Of the many differences between these two lists, there are a few ingredients we wanted to highlight here. The first is TBHQ, or tert-butyl hydroquinone. To be honest, quite. This is a preservative which is used to extend shelf life, or for added freshness as the US label states.
The FDA has put limits on how much it can be used. TBHQ can account for more than 0.02% of the oils in a food because the FDA doesn't have evidence that greater amounts are safe. While that doesn't mean that more than 0.02% is dangerous, it does indicate that higher safety levels haven't been determined.
Research has linked TBHQ to health problems. The National Library of Medicine found vision disturbances when it was consumed by humans, as well as liver enlargement, neurotoxic effects, convulsions, and paralysis in laboratory animals.
Pop-Tarts in the US also contain synthetic food coloring, which are restricted in the UK, specifically yellow 5, yellow 6, red 40, because of their link to hyperactivity and inattention in children. Golly gee, I can't imagine why. The brain is going all over the place.
Another thing to note is that the Pop-Tarts Joe sent me are technically contraband items. If you're working with the police or the government and you watch this, please do not extradite Joe, we need him for filming. That's because the flour used in US Pop-Tarts is bleached. Bleaching flour has been banned in the UK since the 1990s over concerns about potential health effects. It also just seems unnecessary to me, especially for something that's going to be toasted and darkened in colour anyway. You guys just love putting chemicals in your food and seem to seize any opportunity you can to do it.
Yeah, don't arrest me, but he did ask me to send it, so I will flip on the UK team in a second. FBI, if you're watching, I will wear a wire. It was all Harry's idea. I will help you take him down.
What?
I've been watching the current season of Love Island, UK. So I'm like, are you joking? Are you joking? You're having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?
This is journalism, baby. This is why we went to journalism school. I didn't go to journalism school, so I have an excuse.